NASCAR has a nostalgia problem. If you follow my channel, that may be surprising to hear me say. A lot of my content is about NASCAR's past, and I definitely enjoy making all that content about NASCAR history. But hear me out. What prompted me to make this video is the announcement that the Busch Clash will be moving from the LA Coliseum to Bowman-Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The race itself shouldn't be too different, as the tracks are basically the same, although the football stadiums that surround them are. From what I've seen on social media though, I think the reception has been lukewarm at best. There's a good reason for that. It's been almost 55 years since the track last hosted a cup race. Multiple generations have never seen any type of big league NASCAR race held there. They don't understand the track's significance to the early days of stock car racing. If you're from that area or regularly go see races there, or are a big fan of the modifieds, you're going to love the Clash being there. This dichotomy is really the main gist of this video. Make no mistake about it, NASCAR knows how far they've gone with gimmicks in the sport and moving away from the core audience. They're well aware of it. They've gone full court press recently to attract new fans, so anytime they think they can win some favor back with the quote unquote hardcore fans, they take the opportunity to do so by doing something simple like scheduling a beloved former track. But a lot of it ends up feeling unfulfilling. They're using the nostalgia of longtime fans somewhat as a cover for a lot of the negative ways NASCAR has changed. Take the return of North Wilkesboro for example. Both races there have been two of the most boring races I've ever seen in my life, full stop. Wilkesboro was never a pure action track in its heyday like prime Bristol was, but these last two All-Star races were still painful to watch. Hey, the Brickyard 400 returned. Running the Indy Oval was always a slow burn in the same way Pocono is, but I had absolutely zero problem running the Indy road course. It offered more varied racing and was generally more exciting. The reason these returns of tradition feel underwhelming is because the racing is bad, plain and simple. The next-gen car cannot produce a good race outside of a high-bank cookie cutter, which is hilarious because NASCAR struggled to get good racing at those tracks for decades. It's really sad that I no longer look forward to Martinsville or a road course, for example. Instead of really fixing the problem, the car, which is the real issue, they'll just say, hey, here's North Wilkesboro or Bowman-Gray. See guys, we're really delivering for our core fan base. Now we're hearing rumors of Rockingham returning, but only for Xfinity and trucks. Xfinity truck standalone weekends are rare because the fan turnout is bad for them, unlike in the early 2000s. We already tried reviving Rockingham once before, and the crowds were underwhelming, and I'm sure it'll be the same again. I love Rockingham, but I want to see a cup race there. I think it should take the Darlington spring date. Darlington has seen attendance fall off since having two races again. And that's another problem with Bowman-Gray, too many tracks in that region. I know I could get crucified for saying that, but you're asking people to pay a bunch of money to go to a bunch of different races. Yeah, if you lived in that part of the South, you could go to Bowman-Gray, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Rockingham, Darlington, Bristol, Martinsville, even Atlanta or Talladega. But at a certain point, the economics of it don't make sense, especially in our current climate. The large majority of fans don't have the luxury to attend all of them. They have to pick which one they want to see the most. This in turn hurts attendance overall. NASCAR and their partners sometimes want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to hit new markets and demographics and all that jazz, and yet we're looking at three of the newest tracks added to the schedule all being in North Carolina. Charlotte, Rockingham, and Wilkesboro used to be packed. They're not getting all those fans back. NASCAR made their bed by getting rid of Wilkesboro and Rockingham all those years ago. They can't just use people's nostalgia to bring fans back in. Those fans are gone. The sport has changed a ton in the last 2 decades, and I can count on one hand how many of those changes were positive. Freezing the field at the moment of caution and the lucky dog / wave around are the two changes that I actually like. The car is unsuitable for most tracks, the championship format is total crap, and TV coverage is lacking. NASCAR could do two things tomorrow and significantly improve the sport overnight. Fix the next gen's clear issues and get rid of the elimination format. I'd prefer the full season point standings, but I'll even take the original version of the chase over what we have now. But sadly, NBC is too invested in the playoff marketing to ever go back to something good. It's nice to have more variety in the schedule, but it's not going to fix the lack of satisfaction a lot of people have with the on-track product or the results of the quote-unquote playoffs. This is why I say NASCAR has a nostalgia problem. They know what a good majority of stock car racing fans want. I think Ben Kennedy and Steve Phelps know what the fans want. It's just NASCAR as a company is beholden to what their television partners and other stakeholders want. Except the teams though, they don't get a say. I don't think NASCAR wants to start races at 3:30, but if someone is paying you billions with a B to start them at 3:30, you're starting them at 3:30. And NASCAR is not the only sport where its decisions are solely driven by what TV execs want. Look at college football for example. NASCAR needed a really strong leader to grow, and they don't have that anymore. NASCAR can't command any network around like the NFL can. So now we're stuck with racing being run by people who don't understand it. In short, I'm sure everyone has their favorite era of NASCAR. Mine is 2001 to 2005, which is a little funny because I hate the chase format, but regardless, everyone is going to have a different era depending on when they grew up watching. There's kids these days who will one day long for the 3-wide Atlanta finish in 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or am I just yapping? Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video.